Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn here, and in this video I'm here to bring you the results video of my farming of 20 maps of Strongbox. And as you saw in my last map, or in my last video, I farmed 20, I was farming 20 Strongboxed maps with a total of 3 sacrifice fragments and a gilded Strongbox scarab, along with the sextants with enraged Strongboxes and 2 additional Strongboxes. Every single map I ran also had to pay the chaos. I had a few free crafts, but I paid the chaos for at least 16 of the maps to get additional strong boxes. My total strong boxes per map was 13 strong boxes on average. Occasionally I would get to 14 or 15 depending on if the game spawned additional ones, and as you know, you can spawn natural strong boxes aside from those. So I did this with the bare basics so I can give you like a average budget cost. Now I did a little bit of research, and price per scarab on gilded strongbox scarabs are pretty varying, but they usually go for about 5 to 10 chaos each in League. Less on PC. You can bulk them out pretty well, get a good chunk of them really well, and for really cheap. Obviously, if you're paying for a whole bulk on PC, you're paying more on console. It's usually less, just the way the market works here. And here is the results. As you see, we don't have anything too amazing as far as like exalts or anything. However, we did spend a total of 20 scarabs, and we got a lot of scarabs back. If I were to type in scarab and just go like this, you can see how many scarabs we got. So I'll do it one step further and just pull it out so you guys can kind of see everything. And after this, I'm going to turn my affinity tab on, so it just goes right into my affinities. Tab affinity, sorry. Alright, now we have a pretty fair chunk here. I'm not going to do the counting, but it looks like we made more than 20 scarabs back. And as far as gilded ones alone, I think we got a fair amount of gildeds back. Let's see. We got like a quarter of the gildeds back, and then we got a whole plethora of other scarabs as well. Now this is all the scarabs. This is including obviously the ones that dropped from the, what do you call it, for the league mechanic, or not league mechanic, but from the mechanic that, you know, enemies can drop scarabs. So, you know, obviously it's not a full-on result of this. However, it is, the way I see it, it's still pretty good. We only spent 20 scarabs. We got well more than 20 scarabs back. That's good, right? So let's go ahead and just deposit all our scarabs in. Along with the scarabs, we got an insane amount of other stuff as well, such as currency and essences. Now the essences are purely from the essences. Just by taking the nodes, I did not do anything extra. I didn't have the sextant modifier for essences, and this is every single essence we got, which is insane if you ask me. This is it's not like a huge amount, but in 20 maps for the sample size, with a lot of them being kind of so-so, we did get a fair amount of shriekings and whatnot. We did not use any remnants of corruptions to try and get deafenings or anything, but the way I see it is, you know, I just wanted to add a little bit of investment into it, and it's not very hard to do. You can do it really easily in League without even getting a full Atlas. So on top of that, we got a ton of divination cards. We didn't really get too many insane ones. Unfortunately, our luck was kind of meh on them. But as you see here, I'll just kind of go slower so you can kind of see what we got. Nothing too amazing. Got a metamorph item, belt card, avoid, disfavor card, double corrupted card, tabby, 4 of the patient cards, and just, you know, just a little bit of cards here and there that we can, nothing to write home about. And then the one lucky drop we did get is a Tainted Exalted Orb. Now, as far as good uniques, we got a Primordial Might and a Shadows and Dust, I think this is, right? No, Null and Void. Now, what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to pull out some Val Orbs that I dropped right here, and I'm just going to Val Orb them. Boom. Brick and boom. Well, that's not bad. So, the bricks we save for a friend. I'm actually just going to go put that aside real quick. Excuse me. And I'll just put that in there too. And then when we look here, the rest of our currency is pretty much bubblegum. Nothing too insane, but I did get a lot of these. So let's go ahead and do this. Eldritch. All right. So in 20 maps, we got pretty much all of this in Eldritch, which is actually pretty strong. 4 Grands, 8 of the lesser, 7 greater, and then we got an annulment, and then we got the lesser Eldritch and the lesser Ecor. I guess 17 of that, that's what it is. We got 17 of this one, and all of these were from strong boxes. Like, when we were popping strong boxes, a lot of these just popped out. Obviously, the mechanic dropped a little bit, but, you know, all in all, it was pretty good. I'll say it was definitely worth my time, you know, popping out, open the strong boxes for sure, for sure. Then we got a bunch of bubblegum, bunch of contracts, and if you recall, I did say we did 20 maps. In those 20 maps, we actually happened to get 5 divines out of a couple 6 links. Not an amazing amount, but it was only 20 maps. And we didn't do anything else such as like a monstrous treasure or, you know, anything too crazy. We just did the regular one. We didn't even do the infused strongbox, which is 2 additional strongboxes per map, which you would have seen about a like 5% increase in loot, probably, maybe a little less depending on luck. But I would say overall I did pretty good in value, and it was definitely worth my time to do it. I don't feel like I wasted my time on this, and if I were to give a profit, I'd say I definitely doubled or tripled my value in whatever I spent. As I said before, 20 scarabs shouldn't cost you more than like an exalt, I would say, and we easily made well more than an exalt back. And that's just pretty much not including some of the other like nuanced stuff, such as contracts that dropped, and you know, just the amount of sextants that we got back from this is actually pretty insane. And just to kind of show you, we got a couple stacks of tin here. This 10, 20, 30. Now, there were times where we would open a strong box and it would literally drop 8 sextants out of it, and that was pretty solid. So 40 sextants, that's pretty solid. If you think about how many sextants I used, it would have been, let's see, it was 20 maps times, let's see, 8, 16, 8, 16, I believe it was how it went. Oh no, 4, 4, 4, 4, something like that. Either way, it was a lot of sextants for the amount of maps I did, and I'm pretty appreciative of that. Let's go ahead and just put everything away. And 27 on making orbs, so that pretty much almost entirely paid for all of the unmaking orbs I used to respec the tree just off of this farming session. And I'm really appreciative of that, because some of these farming sessions I've been doing, you know, I've just not been breaking even on the unmaking orbs. And this time around, I actually did pretty good. And I can say without a doubt, like, this is probably a farming method that I will replicate in League, because it is just free. There's absolutely nothing you have to invest to start with on it, and then as you go, you can invest if you want to. So, go ahead and finish just holding square to get all these put away real quick. And then I can just grab these real quick. We'll go ahead and just open these 2 stack decks. Boom, boom, nothing. Cool. Alright. And then we did get quite a few of the reports. The reports are pretty good because these will allow us to refresh key rack, which can give us some better stuff. And we've been saving our reports because I do want to do a grinding session with to see how good or bad the reports are, and that'll come in time as well. And then as far as the maps go, we got a lot of maps. We had a few times where we opened the chest and it would duplicate all the maps. It was actually pretty insane to see all the maps come flying out of the strong boxes, and I will definitely be having fun doing this again. Some of them, or most of them, came out corrupted, unfortunately, especially like this one here, this maze here. I can't even put that in my tab because I have too many mazes. This one as well. Looks like it got copied, so yeah. And when it copies, you know, it copies however it was. So if it was corrupted, you know, kind of get what you get, right? And then let's just go ahead and pull out the rest of these maps. We only got 2 Guardian maps out of it, unfortunately. But I mean, you know, you gotta go with what you got. You can't really complain. Let's see, get everything out of here real quick. Alright, so what you can do, so now we have 5 divines, pretty solid. We're just gonna go boom, boom, put them away. As far as these go, let's see. These are tier 14 maze maps, so let's go to 14, find the maze, cool. I'll just pull out 2, now you can horizon orb those 2 and put these away. Alright, now if I were to you know, give an estimate on how much profit per hour I got, I would say I got roughly, if everything sold, it would have been easily like 3, 4, I like to say 4 plus exalts an hour just off of grinding and pure profit as well. I definitely paid the chaos back straight up. 20 maps isn't very many, and I only paid it for 16, but if you were to pay 20 maps times 4 chaos, that's 100C. We got 54C raw and then 5 divines, which you can sell for 50C. So that's over 100 chaos right there. Then you have all the other bubblegum that we picked up. The sextants that you used pretty much felt like they paid for themselves a little bit. However, in a league standpoint, you're probably going to be buying the sextant modifiers or the whatnot instead of buying sextants, because sextants are pretty expensive in league. I just happen to have thousands of them in standard, so I'm having some fun, you know, just grinding them all out. Another thing is that if I were to make a recommendation in you doing this, you can use rusted strongbox scarabs and save yourself a ton of currency, because more often than not I found myself using, when I found myself using the gilded, is there would be at least 4 or 5 useless strongboxes, even though strictly speaking when you're running with the strongbox scarabs, the higher ones, it's still, you know, obviously a higher chance for you to get the scarab strongboxes or to get the div strongboxes or to get the map strongboxes, and that's really, really good. That being said, if we were to sell maps, for example, in League at bulk, we would probably expect about 3 to 4 chaos a pop. And we definitely made more maps than we ran, so it's pretty solid there. I would say if you're going to do this farm again, you maybe not worry about getting the enraged modifier, just because it adds quantity to it. We did find a lot of stuff that was okay in there, but like there wasn't even stuff that I would have found and picked up in League that actually made a difference. This is a very small sample size though. Obviously if you're running this like in 100 maps kind of setting, over time you're going to probably see a couple exalts drop, probably going to see more divines drop, 6 links drop, anything like that. So we only found 5 6 links total, or 4 6 links in a raw divine, should I say, and that felt kind of bad, honestly, but at the same time it was still pretty solid. We still made a pretty good killing in profits if we were to calculate it all out. Now I will say this again, I am playing standard, so I don't really aim for a profit margin kind of thing. I'm just here to show you the value in doing this. And if you think that you like this whole farming session and you want to repeat it for yourself, by all means. You don't need to go 100% and use the strong, what do you call it? Everything I did. You can use polish, you can use rusted. You can obviously, if you want to use a gilded, you don't want to pay the 4C, you can obviously do that. You can obviously wait till you get like maybe 8 maps set up and 8 of the craft for Valley of Steel boxes, or whatever it's called. Let me see. It's called Monstrous Treasure, I guess, so it's not the prophecy name, it's the actual thing's name. So, or not the card's name, it's this name. So yeah, if you want to wait till you get like 8 of these, it's going to take you a while because it's very, very rare to encounter them at all. But I mean, when you do get it, I mean, it would be pretty insane profits in my opinion. I'm going to wait till I get 8 and then I'm going to do this farm again. I'm probably going to continue the farm just for personal reasons, because I like it. It's kind of fun to open a bunch of strong boxes. You know, it feels like it's Christmas and you're opening a bunch of presents and whatnot. However, I will be thinking about doing what my next farm is and how I'm going to go about min-maxing that as well. And as I go and I figure out my next farm and so on and so forth, I'm going to be stacking up essences. And eventually I'll be doing a crafting video on how you would go about, you know, doing your own crafts, such as these boots here. Obviously the boots aren't like you know, top of the top. They are tier 3 dex and tier 2 suppression, but you can only hit T2 suppression on item level 80, I believe. And the dex, I mean, just hitting dex with suppression was just insane luck, and I'm kind of glad I did. The prefixes, they could be better, but it's just what I needed, the movement speed, and then cannot be frozen craft, and that's it. Obviously, if you want to try for life, reforge for T1 life, and then try and do a Niseling, you can do it that way. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to take that much extra, and it'd be, you know, pretty easy. How much, he says, for what? Oh, what are you offering on? I'll check all that later. So, that being said, if you guys like this farm, or if you want to see more like it, please feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any pointers or just, you know, any anything you want to ask, just feel free to do so. For the most part, I'm just going to keep having fun in Standard. I will be hopping over to League sooner than later. A friend of mine basically talked me into it and decided, he's like, hey, if you're going to play League, I'll do this for you. And he did it. So guess what? I got to go play League. I don't gotta, but I'm going to go play League. But yeah. I think tomorrow what I will do is I will sit down and do a crafting video just to kind of show you exactly how I go about my crafting. Before that, what I want to do is I want to hit a couple of logbooks, and what this will entail is just me just running a bunch of logbooks and kind of, you know, having some fun with it. And you know, we'll see what the schedule turns out as we go. That's going to basically be what I'm going to say about it. But yeah, as always, everybody, take it easy, have a good one, and stay cool.